On today's show, we'll wrap up lessons from the 2026 draft season, talk about players who are ice cold and players that are sizzling hot, and we'll reminisce about our auction experiences. Get ready for a mini crossover episode with the folks at the Pallazzo podcast next on Beat the Shift. And welcome to another episode of the Beat the Shift podcast. I am your host, Ariel Cohen, and with me as always is Ruvain Guy. What's going on, Ruvain?
Not much. How are you doing today?
I'm good. It's been a while. I did actually see you twice in person in the last couple of weeks, but we haven't done a show in a while. And happy holidays to everybody if you're celebrating Passover or Easter or whatever it might be. What's going on, Ruvain?
Not much. Enjoying the baseball season, enjoying this bipolar weather that we have going on, and I finally get to hear you with your clear voice. Your voice is actually sounding almost 100% at this point.
Oh my God, as you guys might know, or maybe you couldn't tell, hopefully you couldn't tell too much, but I had lost my voice, both speaking and singing voice for a while. My speaking voice is nearly at 100, it's like 90 to 95%. My singing voice, though, is like 80 to 85. I can hit low, but I can't go super high, but whatever. I feel a lot better, and I sound a lot better, so we're ready to go. And I played in a pickup softball game today, pitched 9 innings, 0 runs. So I'm doing fun. I'm having fun, Ruvain.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got a great show. We've got 2 guests today, actually, from the Pallazzo podcast. We've got Sam Wirsching and Britton Allen. What's going on, guys?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Just same as Reuven said. I'm enjoying baseball, and being in the Northwest. I live in the Northwest. We've also had weather that it's sunny today. It's been raining the last few days before that, then sunny again. So I'm just trying to take it all in, survive the spring.
Hey guys, it's Britton. I just want to say thank you so much for the invite. It's an honor to be on this great, wonderful podcast. I've been a listener for a while. Long-time listener, first time podding with you, something like that. That's how they say it on the FM radio, guys. I'm not exactly sure, but here we are, already within minutes, and Ariel Cohen is already dropping bombs like he has a singing voice, as if he's like Ariana Grande or something, walking around all day, belting out some tunes.
That's what I'm talking about. I feel like we missed out. He should have been karaokeing with us when I went with Frank and Chris from CBS. We need Ariel to come in and, put us in a party mood with those dulcet tones.
Ariel, what's your go-to karaoke song? Like you could have any karaoke song you want. The lights are low. Reuven's there at the bar hanging out with 3 good-looking women, and it's
Lord.
up to you to karaoke any song you want. Ariel, what's your go-to? You got to tell us.
I don't really do much karaoke, but I like the romantic songs, like, I'll do like the Titanic song. That kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
dear.
I Will Always Love You. Oh, you're a romantic. Hey, Sammy. Hey, how are you doing, buddy? Did you know that Ariel, aka the Terminator, from our auction, was actually a romantic person?
You can tell. I mean, you got to look. It doesn't show up for everybody, but I spent all weekend observing Ariel, and he's a lover. He does things with passion. He is going all out with it. Like, I would have guessed that he would. And I Will Always Love You is from The Bodyguard,
I was referring to the Titanic song.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I missed up my love song.
Whitney Houston is great too. That's
Yeah.
Well, one thing everyone says at the auction is that Ariel's always trying to put people to sleep at the auction, trying to lull everyone into their own, in their heads while he's nominating players and bidding on players.
That's not the thing at all. And I was talking to somebody about this, and not to just jump into auction talk, but if you've ever watched baseball from like 10 years ago, you are aware of a pitcher named Johnny Cueto, who was the master at tinkering with everything, where he stood on the rubber, how he delivered his ball, the arm angle. I mean, he was doing everything in that draft room. he was changing his cadence. He was changing the volume. He was like zinging when people were zagging. Like it was fun to watch Ariel in his element, so to speak.
It was mental warfare.
Oh,
is what Ariel Cohen was doing to us.
100%.
So we're sitting there, everybody's calm and nice, and then every now and then Ariel will mix it up, yelling to
20.
the point where he made Sam kind of pee in his pants a little bit. He was so startled, like a cat.
I mean, thankfully, I've got very strong muscles. That didn't happen, but yeah, I literally jumped. I was like, "Whoa!" Ariel would rock me to sleep with that back and forth, that little quiet little, little rep he got into, the little pattern he got into, and then boom, out of nowhere. I'll never forget 20.
And then
he'll hear that the rest of my life.
And then he'll sing you a love song like, "And I will always beat you in an auction."
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
and Ruvain, you got to auction against me for the first time. I mean, we've done it together. Usually I'm the guy doing it, but how did you feel about that one? I think you've got a better team than me. I was not doing my typical Ariel Cohen team. You had an Ariel Cohen team on there.
Yes, I think I did much better, and I think every time we got into a bidding war, everyone in the room everyone said, "This is going to be in the podcast, right? This is going to be in the podcast, right?" And that alone, but I think the room itself played a big factor as to how you were auctioning. So I think that did affect the way you bid, the way you were trying to cadence, the way you're trying to read other players, because it just wasn't the same Ariel that we normally see.
Yeah, it was also a tough room. I mean, I was literally sitting. We were in a bar somewhere up on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and I was literally sitting right next to the kitchen, and I could just hear like dishes being washed and stuff being run. I could not actually hear bids at all. So I didn't even know what was going on. Yeah, like I really didn't know what was going on. Jason Collette was sitting next to me. He had to tell me who the player that was being bid on, like almost every single player. I couldn't hear anything. So it was weird. And I read the room wrong. Like, for example, I didn't really want Cole Reagans at the price I got him. I was trying to bid him up, and usually I'm spot on in doing that, but I just couldn't read the room because I couldn't hear anybody on how they were bidding. So.
But what's bidding up for you? Like, what did you get Cole Reagans at? $1 or $2 beyond what you thought his value was?
Yeah, that's it. 17 I got him at.
Yeah,
17 or 18.
I mean, it wasn't crazy. I wasn't like, oh my god, I spent $20 on him, but I didn't really want him. I got Jacob deGrom. I also got Byron Buxton. For listeners of the show, you'll know that I never get any of those two guys. But I did, some of it was a little bit purposefully, like, I'll try a buck more. But I thought I'd be bid up on all of them, and there you go.
But it was also very unique in that this draft, there was no big board, so there was no way to keep track of your money. I do pen and paper, and I don't use a computer, so I had no idea how much money I had. There was no big board. You couldn't tell who needed what position. It was like just flying by the seat of your pants type of auction. But I liked it. It was good.
So, we'll talk. Obviously, we talked a little bit about GDD there. That was a sort of half. Well, I guess there's more regular folk, but it used to be more industry guys, and then a bunch of friends of Steve Cozzolino. It was a little bit more than half regular guys. It was a 12-team roto standard. The draft that Britton and Sam was in with me was the Tout Wars head-to-head. We had Joe Galena on the other week, and we were talking about it, and this was a very weird draft, I thought, in terms of the auction temperature in the room was super hot at the top, so much so that I had no desire to bid on anybody until the end. Like my highest paid player is $20, but I have so many different people. The other thing I noticed is that about 8 out of 12 people left money on the table. But not just like $1. We're talking like $10 to $15, including one person who had about, let's say, $40 left over and spent $25 on Shane Boz. Britton, what were your thoughts about this auction? And actually, more specifically, what did you think was going to happen going in, and how did it change?
Well, I had a great time. I had a blast. I got there early. Or at least I thought it was early. I got there about an hour early because that was my second time in New York, and from where our hotel was to where the draft was, I didn't really know what what it would be like. So I just wanted to be, so I got there early. But so I thought I got there early. However, I walk in the room and who else is there? Of course, it's Ariel Cohen, set up like he's going to, Artemis 2 launch a spacecraft into
real.
space, a manned spaceship.
You have to
with
explain what that is,
monitors.
by the way.
Yeah, cords, monitors, keyboards. There was a voodoo doll with Jason Collette with pin sticking. I don't know what was going on.
Sound
it was
system.
a mix of science and art that nary they meet in the middle, but somehow it did. So I got there.
I think that's a pretty accurate description. It was like part shaman, part launch control at Houston. Like there was a real blending of spirit and technology there. Like he had an aura almost around him when he was doing the whole thing. Like you knew you had to sit, you had to give him an extra foot. Like it was intimidating a little bit. I mean, the intimidation ended after a couple minutes, but Ariel was set up and ready to go first thing.
And what's funny is the contrast, because then directly across the way was Doug Dennis, who had a piece of paper.
Well,
And I mean, like no pen,
yeah.
no, no notebook, no lap book, nothing. A literally a piece of paper, an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that was folded in half with lettering that, like, if you were Sherlock Holmes with a magnifying glass, you couldn't read. Like that's how. Like I don't know how he did it, but he did it. So it was a fun, interesting contrast, and so I went in there with AAV and what I thought the players that I wanted and wanted to target. And it's one thing about this particular draft
Okay,
is that.
can I actually
sorry,
stop
go
you there?
ahead. Yeah.
You went in with AAV. How do you compile that AAV?
Well, I did an earlier draft. It wasn't points. It was roto, but it was 2 catcher, and it was on NFBC. So I was in that draft. It was online. It wasn't live, but I kind of took. It was a couple weeks before that, so I kind of took what those NFBC numbers went as to what I thought was going to happen. Now, of course, there was some wide variance because
Can I give
stuff
a pro tip to the audience here? I come in with AAV, but because it's a different format than the actual AAV that you're getting, if you're getting it from, like, let's say the NFBC, which is 15 team and it's roto, or if you're getting a 12 team or whatever it is, you do have to convert it somewhat because you're in a points league here and it's different value. So what I do is I will actually add the difference between my value and the ATC value and in both formats. So, for example, let's say Juan Soto is worth in an NFBC league $40, and in this format he's worth 45. I'll take the AAV, whatever it is, let's say it's 46, and I'll add that difference of 5 to that, and my AAV becomes 51. And that's actually what I bring to the table in terms of AAV. It's a converted one for the format.
Right. It was just to kind of give me an idea. I didn't actually follow it all that closely. Another mistake. But just to give me an idea of what a player is going for. And so it's also a 2-catcher league in a points league, which is different because even though it's a fab league, there aren't that many catchers that come up during the year. Although I guess you could argue this year Liam Hicks is kind of, sprung out of nowhere. But I wanted 2 good catchers. That was my plan. I wanted 2 good catchers, and I had those 2 catchers that I targeted because during the year you can pick up outfielders that matter, you can pick up starting pitchers that matter, you can pick up everything, but picking up a catcher during the course of a baseball season is really, really, really tough. So that was really my only plan. But I know Sam had a plan and he nailed it with the judge.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
You got a great deal.
So the day before, Judge went for 63 and $64 in the 2 auctions that happened, the AL Oni and the mixed roto. And so, yeah, I was bidding him up. I didn't think I'd end up with Judge. 52 felt like a safe number, and I really wish that I'd had $15-20 more at the end to drop the hammer on a couple of players that I liked. But, I mean, how can you argue with Aaron Judge? He's top 3 hitter right now.
He's
Who
the
do you
best.
guys like more than him?
Yeah, it's not an argument on that. I think the only thing I'd say is that when you spend over $50 on any one player, then it's prohibitive to
Right.
getting a couple of different players at the end. And, since I'm a value drafter, I'm looking to get, if a player's worth 10, I'm looking to get him for 6 or whatever it is. If you spend it at Aaron Judge, even if you pay par value, which I think 50 something, I think it was a little bit over. You limit the number of value plays you can play at the end. You can't spend it on 2 different players for 5 and get a $10 player. So
Exactly.
you just get more value if you do the other way.
It's also risk versus reward because you're getting one of the top 3 players in baseball, and your risk is that he will do that. And then the reward is that he'll do that. The risk is that you'll end up like a Juan Soto who's already on the IL at this point, who went for a little bit less than that. I think he went for 46. I'm looking at the board here, and you have that risk and reward, and it's so tempting, especially if the values fit what you want. But sometimes, it's always hard for me to pull a trigger on something like that. I think I'd go maybe high 40s, but it really just like Sam, you said, it hamstrings you on who you want to get later on. That's a problem.
But that's, I mean, for me, that was, I went into the draft my plan was to not have a plan other than to be reactive to the room and to just do what felt right in the moment, because it was the first time that I had drafted live auction in that kind of a room. And so I really wanted to, as much as I had a plan, so to speak, I really wanted to be open to, where there were values that came out. And I don't do as much work with projections as I probably should. That's something that really came out for me was I would like to have a better understanding and knowledge of the projection systems, especially in a points league, because going after players that are going to hit in the top 3 of a lineup, going after players that aren't going to be platooned later on, going at, if there's ever a place to want to maximize at-bats and K rates, this is really it. And I think that's the biggest thing that I learned, was that I want to have more recall of that when I'm sitting in that room, instead of being dependent on a screen to remember that for me. I also want to bring another screen while watching the 3 screen set up to my left. Like, I think that there's something to that. But I felt like I did pretty good. Like, we talked about Shane Baz went for $35. Like, there were people that got to the end of the draft and had a lot of money left over. And I felt really good that I spent my money. I only ended up, I think, with 1 or 2 $1 players. Like, I felt like I put together a pretty good team for it just being my first time in. Maybe next year I'll have somewhat more of a definitive plan, but I liken this to doing whitewater rafting, where every day you're on the river, it's going to be pretty similar, but every river is different. Every time of the day is different. And you really have to just pay attention to what's going on around you. You really need to get a read for the room when you have that opportunity to be in the room with the other 11 people that we're drafting. So,
yeah, I mean, I'd say that it's not about having no plan. I think, to me, it's having a couple of different plans or the experience of where to go. So, to give you like the white water rafting thing, is you've been on the river many times, and if it's a very windy day, you have to veer more to the left. And if it's not a windy day, the best path is to go center. Or if something really goes wrong, you go right. Like, you have to know, you have to have experience in doing each path and knowing which one will be the best one. And so when I read the room and the numbers were so much higher than mine, I knew that, I'm not even going to bother here. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to clean up in the $20 range. And I knew that I had to actually buy players $15, $20, because if I didn't, then there would be absolutely nothing left at the end. Whereas when I drafted in labor this year, I knew right away, holy cow, if I don't pounce now, there's no value at 20. So I've got Tatis, I've got Soto. Now, obviously, Soto's injured now, but, that's the point, is I knew to go towards the top and not wait for the middle. So you have to know where to put your raft in the river.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because if those top players aren't going for as much as you thought they were, then that's when you pounce. If they're going for a crazy amount, way more, then you'll wait back. Which
exactly,
that may be oversimplifying it, but
yes.
I think that's a good.
And the tip is to, when you come down to it, the first couple players, write down a plus something at the very beginning. If there's a corner infielder and he goes 4 over, write down +4. If there's an outfielder and they're going 7 over, write down +7. And you'll see within 2-3 picks of each position roughly how much over something's going. If players are only going 3-4 over, you pounce right away. If something is going $7-8 over, you just wait and you'll get them later.
It's not just players, it's also the statistics. If you see stolen bases are going
Yes.
high or saves are going high, you should do the same type of thing.
Exactly.
Ariel, do you have a strategy about what players you nominate, or you just go with the flow?
No, I always have a strategy and everything. It's all pre-planned. So, for example, you probably noticed that I nominated a bunch of Mets players, and I
Fireballers.
exactly. I casually threw in some fun. Here comes Mets fireballer, Freddie Peralta. I got that from, so Reuven and I used to do this auction in the NFBC in New York, and there was a fellow who was the auctioneer, and anytime somebody nominated a Met, he would go with fireballer if it's a pitcher, or slugger if it's a hitter. So it just was casualty worked into the conversation, but the point was that I didn't want anybody to really know what I was doing, so I just had some fun, but I was trying to get some players at a certain price range off the board that I didn't want. And Peralta was a pitcher that I wanted to break up a tier on, and that's why I threw him out there. Same thing with some closers. When I brought him up, I put up Devin Williams to break up a tier after I bought closers. So there's definitely a point to doing it, and I used the Mets as a mirage for just me casually throwing it. So obviously you couldn't tell if I had a plan or not. So obviously it worked.
100%. But when you say Mets fireballer, you don't want that player. That's why you're calling him a fireballer. If you wanted the player, you'd be like, Slade Ciccone, the worst pitcher ever in the history of the world.
Not really. I don't think you could tell if I wanted a player or not. I just say for every Met. That's why it's hypnotic in a way, in that you have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to not reveal a poker tell here, as to you don't know if I want a guy or not.
You've said Mets slugger Juan Soto, and you've actually ended up with him. So it's not like it's that has I've seen that happen. It does occasionally happen.
See, I nominated, after you're doing your fireballer stuff, I nominated Luis Robert Jr. I said fireballer Met, and you didn't bite. So I guess you were too.
Right. I also corrected you that he was a slugger, not a fireballer.
Well, no, I think a slugger could be a fireball.
Yeah,
but hey, look,
that's
he's not a
part of
fireballer or a slugger. So, I'm not sure either one of those are true.
Yeah, I think that's part of the joy of calling Luis Robert a fireballer, is that we know it's wrong when it's said.
That's true. That's true.
But see, this is the whole difference between having a live auction and an auction over the computer. Having a live auction, there's just it's entertainment value. You
100%.
become friends, and in this one, there was a live feed. I got to see the good side of Britton Allen. His right side was next to the camera the entire time.
Yeah, I think it was pointed at my back the whole time. So you're welcome for that.
Thank you.
No, but to just real quick, just to jump on what Reuven said, I think that is this tout experience is the most fun that I've ever had for a 2-hour period. Like, I've had good seasons and I've had good times, but auction drafting is unlike anything else when you get to do it live and not in front of a computer. It was chef's kiss for the group that put it on. The Tout Wars people are just phenomenal. And I don't think that there was a bad egg in that room. I really enjoyed everybody's company.
Yeah, no, definitely a very fun room. And, I mean, serious, but very able to joke around and people laugh. I mean, have you ever drafted with Gray Albright?
No, but I got to watch him do his thing online once.
Oh.
But not in the same room.
I love being in drafts with Gray Albright. He's just so funny, and I mean, it's hard to tell on the show. I'm usually serious, but I love the fun and saying silly stuff. I mean, it's just so much fun. I'm not old school in that I don't go to a draft and $20 and I really have to I'm here to have fun.
Life is too short, man. Life is to be experienced and to have fun.
So, strategy section here, in general, and this is the end of draft season. Everyone has all begun. It's already week 2 in the season in leagues. and actually, I'll give an homage to Passover. I'll ask Sam first. How was this draft season different from all other draft seasons? Like, what was special to you that you what was different? What was the nuances that you learned here?
There's two parts to it. The first part is that last year for me personally I was very busy and very distracted. I had a lot of Sundays and weekends that I wasn't able to really participate as I would have wanted. And so last year kind of felt like a lost season. And this spring, I was able to make some time available to actually get to do some drafts. I got to come to New York. And so this felt like, I don't know, I've been able to carve out time for myself. So very personally, like not about learning something about baseball, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity to get to do what I'm doing with fantasy baseball. So it feels better this year. You know, there's a bunch of talk about what's going to happen or not going to happen in 27. So I'm just, I was really in the moment for a lot of my drafts. This year was, I learned that I really just want to have fun. Like I want to win. Like winning is more fun than losing. So I don't want to, I'm very competitive. I have a very competitive nature about myself, but you know, life is to be experienced like we just said. And I just wanted to slow down and enjoy the things. I don't know if I learned anything about my approach other than for the auction. I want to be more prepared with values. I want to have a second screen. I am going to have an approach for that $10 to $25 range of players. I want to have, probably 50 or 60 players identified in that range that I would be happy to draft in a points league. But just, I took the time to be in the moment this year, and it was awesome for me. It felt really good.
So Britton, I'll ask you this also. What did you see in terms of like the players or the player pool or what went on in drafts that you thought was different?
This was crazy different this year, and it's because of one reason: the rookies. Because I've never seen like J.J. Weatherholt, Kevin McGonigal, Carter Jensen, Cole Young. Shout out Sam and the Mariners. Where's that guy come from? I don't know. Who was talking about Cole Young 3 months ago? I don't know. But somebody knew something. So it's how do these young prospects, you got Connor Griffin, who just got called up last week or this weekend. How exciting was that, by the way? The Pirates, who has a better record than the Pirates? Like the Brewers and the Dodgers, end of list. So congratulations to the Pirates. But these young stud players and how teams are treating them different because of the incentive for going ahead and calling them up as opposed to keeping them down like they did with Chris Bryant and, all other stars. It's to completely change fantasy. You have to know about these young players. You have to know who J.J. Weatherholt is. He's batting leadoff for the St. Louis Cardinals. Kevin McGonigal, who we saw in the AFL, shout out Baseball HQ, but Kevin McGonigal is batting second for the Tigers. These are huge impact players that are rookies. That's the biggest thing by far that I've seen this year.
And not only that, the price that you had to pay for them in drafts this year was so much cheaper than in years past. Right? Like in years past, there was some rookie you had to pay 5th, 7th, 8th round value for these guys. These guys you didn't. McGonigal you can get in the 17th round, right? The value on taking gamble at prospects was so low. To me, that actually hurt me this year because I don't draft rookies. Right? Projections always say rookies are lousy, and usually it's an easy no-brainer thing. They cost too expensive. This year, I mean, we'll talk a bit about what you missed out on. Like, I don't have any Sal Stewart. I don't have any of those players. Murakami. I didn't take a gamble on him. I didn't take a gamble on I've one Bubba Chandler share. That's about it for the whole rookie class, and that's going to hurt.
We got him by accident. And we got him by accident too.
And that's going to hurt me, I think, because these guys are going to return their value, whereas in years past they easily wouldn't. So that's very, very different this year. Ruvain, what about you?
That's because they're playing for the full season. They're starting in major. Connor Griffin needs a weekend, whatever. It's the same idea that you don't have to wait for the first call for the Super 2,
Super
whatever you
2.
want to call it. You don't have to worry about that anymore. And that's one thing I missed out. I have maybe one share of all these rookies. The one guy I really wanted was Carson Benj. He's not hitting yet, but they're playing him every day. Now with Soto out, he sort of has to play every day. And
Love
the fact,
that call.
or so the fact that he's going to be able to, just slide under the radar. He doesn't have to. He's batting 8. He's not like these top rookies, but he's very possible that he's going to be very good. And another thing I noticed about the drafts in general, besides the top closers going insanely high, even pre early season, end of the season, draft season, this closer going very high. Stolen bases was not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. I wanted to throw out stolen base guys, and I thought the price would go higher. A lot of stolen base guys went cheaper, and you're able to get steals later in the draft. That has to do with also the younger players. A lot of the younger players are the ones who steal. So the fact that the younger guys are being lower down, you're able to actually afford them, and a lot of these guys steal. I mean, it saves me in having to spend extra money and overpay on an I don't mean overpay, but like an Ellie De La Cruz, if based on my values.
Well, and that's interesting because these are trends that happened this year. And I was out on rookies also. I came from a dynasty perspective a few years ago, and I've been working out of my system, drafting young and shiny and trying to settle for more old and boring. And so I missed out on all those names that you said, but I don't know how much of that is signal and how much is noise. Because next year it's going to be a completely different landscape of rookies,
for sure.
And I have a feeling that based on what we happened this year, the severe market correction for pricing of rookies, I have a feeling it's going to swing back, and we're going to be doing that 5th, 6th, 7th round rookie drafting again in 27.
And that's why it's a different game every year, and you have to know how to navigate it. And, this year probably was the time to throw darts at these rookies where usually there wasn't. I agree the closers this year were there were super elite closers and there was darts. No in between. That was interesting to navigate. I think the case for an ace is back. I mean, there was clearly an elite pitcher level, and it dropped precipitously. It dropped really quickly, to be honest. I mean, there's a case to even go starter. I mean, in one league that I'm doing a draft and hold, it was a 12-team draft and hold. I've got Christopher Sanchez and I've got Garrett Crochet. That team's doing great right now, and I'm very happy that I did that there. So very, very different. I'll say, though, the other thing that I've noticed through the season is a lot of the ATC undervalued players that were values earlier in the draft season, those values collapsed quite a bit late. I know people are heading towards ATC, and the market corrected a lot, and a lot of the people that I got earlier in the season, I could not get later in the draft season for the same. So the market shift quite a bit from some of those old boring guys later on, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think if you're in like an NFBC draft and hold league, going, pitcher, or as Toby famously coined, pocket aces, that was the thing to do this year. Like if you get one of the top 3, Scooble, Crochet, or Skeens, and then you
throw in Woo.
Throw in Woo, or Christopher Sanchez, and then or Yamamoto, and then you could wait a bit. I mean, you could wait 6 or 7 rounds and then start snapping up, like the Gavin Williams of the world, pitchers in that area.
Yeah. Any regrets that you guys had? I mean, I mentioned that, as a projections guy, I don't go for guys that I don't know anything about, like Imai, Murakami, Sal Stewart. And this is the year that I really do, watch. I did not watch any footage on Imai, but I love that reverse slider that sort of acts like a screwball. That's amazing. And Murakami, his swing reminds me a little bit of Ohtani. And Sal Stewart is somebody that's hitting in the middle of the Reds lineup, and he looks locked right away. Like I should have taken a gamble on those, and I did not do any of that. I went straight projections again because it works for me, but I regret that. Any other regrets, Sam?
I was able to get Amai in I think I got him in TGFBI. I was excited for him going to Houston. No, the player that I had targeted in almost every league was Michael Garcia, which I feel is kind of backwards to just be targeting on one guy. But I really think that he's going to have a significant breakout this year. I was actually targeting a lot of Kansas City Royals. I think Sal Perez is a value. I like Vinny Pasquantino. I wasn't going after Jack Caglione. But yeah, I had some targets, and again, it was more along the lines of who are the players that I felt like were going to really break out and take a step forward, and who was I okay rooting with. I was also trying to avoid Mariners, although I think in my tout squad I have Cole Young, Cal Raleigh, Randy Arozarena. It's not like I don't have Mariners. So
if you were trying to avoid them, I don't know that
I failed miserably. Absolutely.
Any regrets, Ruvain?
And I mean, I mentioned about the rookies. My main regrets is that I think I have too many leagues to follow. And it's going to take a lot of my time. I mean, this is not our day jobs. We have other stuff we have to do, and the fact that I have, I think, 9 teams I have to do, I have to follow and keep up with everything. I love doing the drafts. I love doing that. I don't have any draft and hold, so I don't have that. So, I mean, I love doing it, but I think it's going to be so much work if these teams actually pan out.
Yeah. That's a good regret. Too many leagues. Yeah, that happens a lot. I've gone down this year. I went back up to like 13. I do have a bunch of draft and holds though, so that I will tell you that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I live in Washington. I'm not allowed to do anything on NFBC unless it's the Earth Leagues or TGFBI. So it really saves me from a lot of the accumulating leagues in November, December, January, February.
Do you guys have any bold predictions for the 2026 season? It's still early enough to do one. Let's start with you, Britton.
All right. I thought a lot about this when I saw this on the rundown. And I want to be bold but not crazy. But my bold prediction for 2026 is the Cleveland Guardians starting pitcher, Gavin Williams, is going to finish top 3 in AL Cy Young Award, finishing right behind Tariq Skubal and Garrett Crochet. Gavin Williams is a strikeout stud. All he has to do is tweak the walks just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
A lot. He led the
little
leagues.
bit. Just a little bit.
He led baseball in walks issued last year.
But that was front loaded. In the second half, he changed. He's got a new pitch mix. All I'm saying is, I gotta be bold. I also like, gentlemen, Parker Messick. Whoa, I mean, these are some sneaky good pitchers coming out of the AL if you're kind of tired of Max Fried and, some of the other front runners like that. So, obviously, Tariq Skubal, Crochet are the leaders, but I kind of like sneaky Gavin Williams as my top 3 AL Cy Young Award winners, or place in the top 3. What do you think, Sammy? Do you have a bold prediction?
Wow, you started talking about Gavin Williams and I started giggling. It totally reset my computer.
I'm so sorry. Was that too
fine.
bold? Was that like Tabasco Chipotle with some sriracha sauce on it?
No, that was good.
Right.
I would say I'm going to go with the guy that I've been banging the drum all off season, and that's Cole Young. Cole Young finishes as a top 10 second baseman this season in baseball, and he's going to be a 2020 guy.
I'm going to say that the Cy Young Award winner in the AL is Brian Wu. And
you can say that again and again. Yeah, say that again and again.
And this is gonna sound like well, you had a great first week, but I actually had this prediction before the season. But Shea Langoliers most homers as a catcher and is the number 1 catcher in fantasy.
That's my love language. You're talking right there.
Yeah, I mean now it looks decent with him 5 homers the first week, but I actually had that before.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Cal finally got off the schneid. He hit his first tonight, so.
I think I have a bold one that's going to top all of you. I think Tariq Skubal is going to get Cy Young votes in both the American League and the National League.
Whoa!
How do you like that?
What a great call!
Where's he going?
Where do you have him going? Where do you have him going?
I have him going somewhere in the NL East. In the NL East, because I think 4 out of the 5 teams are going to make the playoffs in the NL East.
Okay.
I'm sorry. 4? No. Mets, Braves, Phillies. 3.
Phillies don't have the capital in their farm system to
Phillies
pull
won't
something
get
like that.
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm
neither
worried
do
it's
the
gonna be
Phillies.
Braves.
I don't know about the Mets. Y'all would know better about that.
The Mets almost got him in the offseason, so you never know. But I think I mean, he can go to the Dodgers also. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
Stop!
That's
Don't
never
speak that evil into that existence.
Well, either way, that makes the possibility of Scuba getting Cy Young votes in both leagues very possible.
I will do
Fair
one
enough.
more strategy section topic here, and that's projections. I mean, I use projections quite a bit in the preseason. We'll start with Ruven with this one. How soon do you ignore preseason projections and any preseason info in favor of in-season stats? So if you see, obviously, if there's somebody at the very bottom of your team who you drafted in the 30th round, sure, if there's a guy hot on the waiver wire, you're going to swap him. But, for guys who, seem to, hey, I really believe in this guy. He, ranked as a $10 player. You're not going to swap him out the first day. But at what point do you then say, no, I'm going to take what's in season and ignore the preseason numbers and projections?
I'm going to say between week 3 and 4, around that time.
That
because
quickly?
around that
Oh, wow.
time, yes, that quickly, because of the fact they already have 70 to 100 at-bats under their belt. You may have 30 to 45 innings under their belt at that point. So you'll have an idea whether or not it's going to be their year or it's not going to be their year.
What about you guys?
I agree with Ruvain. I was going to say week 4. I try not to make any big moves before week 4, but I think he's right. By week 4, you have actionable data, and on a certain point, you have to trust yourself. Like you're going to make wrong decisions, but I think that there is. I think 4 weeks is about the right time. So I'm in with what Ruvain said.
You agree, Britton?
Couldn't disagree more. Erroneous! I think it's all hot streaks and cold streaks. At the end of the day, after 162 games, unless there's an injury, you're within 5% of what you did last year. Pretty much. So I say forget in-season projections. I don't care. I understand that there are going to be some hot hitters and they're going to be cold hitters. If Trey Turner starts out cold, I don't care. If he starts out hot, I don't care. And now, if it's a young player that no one's ever heard of, like, let's say, Nick Kurtz, like last year or something like that, then that's like an outlier that no projection system can ever, figure that out. Like, it's an impossibility. It's an imaginary number. Did y'all know there were imaginary numbers? Numbers that don't exist. 0.0, pi, I don't know. Ariel probably has that on some of his charts that he does for his job. Is there an imaginary number chart? Probably. And it's probably like whatever, helps out on the other numbers. But long story short, no, I don't pay any attention to in-season projections. I think the others, I hang tight. Like, for instance, Michael Harris last year for the Atlanta Braves or Pete Crow Armstrong, like, each had the same season, kind of, right? An incredible first half, a terrible second half, or a terrible first half, an incredible second half. It's a long season, but that's the beauty of it. No, I don't worry about in-season projections. Very long story short.
Oh, I wait 4 to 8 weeks. I mean, even after a month, I'm still going by, past season. Obviously, it depends on player depth. Obviously, my last 5 rounds, who cares? But top players, obviously, you're going to wait longer. But I think my general answer is 4 to 8 weeks, I think.
No, I don't think you mess with your top 10, top 15 picks in a 30-team league or a 30-player league, but I think by week 4 you can start making decisions about some of those mid-round draft choices that you made.
Oh yeah, you're dating those players. You're not married to them.
Well, so. And I'm not. I mean, 25 to 30. Obviously, those are the first couple weeks. But I think that once you get to week 4, you can go down to 18, 15. Like, you can start going after players that are on your roster.
So, as an actuary, I actually don't use imaginary numbers. It doesn't really come up.
That's
square
literally
root of
the antithesis of what you're doing.
Okay, but I do have a question for you guys. Which irrational number does come up quite often as an actuary? Which one?
Irrational
square root of
number?
I?
Pi.
No,
Infinity.
No.
I don't think those are those irrational?
Infinity is not exactly irrational. Pi is irrational. Square root of -1 is imaginary.
Oh, I'm going imaginary numbers. I'm not saying
Now,
irrational numbers.
Which constant or which number which happens to be irrational do you think actually comes up? It's not pi. Pi's
It's
more
got to be
common.
0.
No, pi's not. Zero is not irrational. Zero is
It's 100% irrational. There's no 0. It's either 1 or -1.
My daughter would say 6, 7.
Oh God! Yes! Yes!
So the answer is actually E. E comes up. 2.718281828. Anyways, all right. Let's go to the real trivia. It's time for the Injury Gurus trivia of the week.
Well, now we're going to jump into the players who are having hot starts, and we're going to talk about whether we want to buy, sell, or hold them. So this is the trivia question. Let's see who can get this. Through the first 10 games of this season, can you name the top 4 hitters with the highest accumulated WAR so far this year, according to Fangraphs?
Check Buzz.
Go ahead.
Britton, go first.
Is this Family Feud style? Like I guess I'll just
Go ahead.
Drake Baldwin.
No.
Shea Langoliers.
No.
I actually know some of them because I looked them up in preparation for this show.
What?
Jordan Alvarez is definitely.
Oh yeah.
Jordan Alvarez is
Yeah.
number 1 on the list, 1.1 already of WAR.
So
Is
then
that or
is
not?
Pages one of them?
Yeah, Andy
That's
Paez.
got to be
Andy,
Paez.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, he is. Yes, he is.
The guy
He has
on Boston,
0.9 so
the
far.
outfielder. What's his name?
Willier Bray,
Wilyer
with
Bray,
0.9. And the 4th one, Ben Rice. Has
Ben
already
Rice, really?
accumulated 0.8 WAR, if you want to believe that. And one of the players I'm going to mention about having a hot start is Andy Paez. He's starting this year 16 for 34 with a BABIP over 540, a home run to fly ball rate over 30. I mean, is this sustainable, Britton?
Heck no. Sell. This is like trading places. Sell, sell, sell. He did the same thing last year, hot during the front half of the season, faded in the back. And then Andy Pages, who, look, he was a big-time prospect, and he's got a lot of talent. He's an elite defender, kind of PCA style, but he was so bad in the playoffs this past year that they literally had to bench him. So it's a hot start. I get it. I'm not saying like sell high or anything like that, but yeah, I don't think that Eddie Pages is the new Ronald Acuna or anything like that. What do you think, Sam?
I am all in. He had shine as a prospect with LA. He had a off and on season last year, but LA is one of those teams that goes out and buys players. They don't wait around for everybody talks about their farm system, but very few of their prospects actually end up being contributors to the team. And the fact that LA has carved out a role for him, they're smarter than I am. So their faith in him and the performance that he's had, is he going to maintain this insane level? No, not at all. But is he going to hit high 200s and have great power, some speed, and great counting stats? Absolutely. So I'm in on Andy Paez.
I'd say if you could go trade him for Brent Rooker or something like that, I would do that in a New York minute. Shout out Olsen Twins.
No, not at all. I'm holding.
Well, I think that he was a very undervalued player in the offseason, and to me, he is going to finish with whatever I projected him for originally. So his value, I think, according to people, is still under. To me, he's a buy. Ruvain?
Yeah, I do think he's a buy. I mean, he's only scored 6 runs so far, and he's batting 8th in the order because Shohei Ohtani has not "quote unquote" heated up yet. Then the fact that he bats 8 in that order, he's going to come up with a lot of men on base. He's going to get a lot of runs because when the lineup turns over, he's going to get a lot of runs.
100%.
He only had 9 at bats so far against lefties this year. He's 2 for 9, but last year he batted .313 against lefties. So the fact that he's not even hitting that "quote unquote" that well yet against lefties only shows that it's he's going to do better. But no one's batting .500. That's not going to happen. No one's batting .400. That's not going to happen either. But can he bat .280 and hit 20 to 25 home runs based on the start he's having? That's not out of the realm of possibility.
Not at all. I think 25 is a pretty sure bet for him.
Y'all are lost in the desert. You're in the desert and you're thirsty. and you have underperforming outfielders on your team, and you're in ninth place out of a 15-team league, and you can't think, you can't do anything right, and the sand is gritty and it's sandy, obviously, and you look out and you see Andy Pages hitting 580 or whatever ridiculous nonsense he's hitting for, and you see palm trees and water and bikinis and a tiki bar, and you're like, oh. That's it. That's where I'm going to go. It's called a mirage. Andy Pages, a.k.a. the Mirage. Be careful.
Ariel, what was the name of that guy in the Cubs many years ago that we spent a whole bunch of money on Fab on?
No, the
that
Marlins.
For like 10 days?
Bonifacio.
Yeah, Emilio Bonifacio. He went off one year where he just he was hitting home runs, stealing bases, and we spent like half our Fab on him.
Well,
and
not that crazy, but
it was a lot.
high bid.
It was a very high bid, and
then
he
we
was
dropped him like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, 3 weeks later we dropped him. So these things happen, but
you learn from him.
But I think Pages has a little bit more pedigree than him.
That was like 17 years ago, by the way, with Bonifacio. That was a long time ago.
Don't remind me.
Okay, the next player I'm going to do really quickly because I hope the answer is going to be bye for everybody. And by the way, this is one of the funniest nominations at Tout Wars in the last couple of years. Alex Chamberlain nominated him, and he says Shea Lingerie for $5. Shea Langoliers, 5 home runs, batting .306. I mean, I had him as a bold prediction before. To me, he's a buy. If you had to pick the top 3 catchers, he's got to be in there. So he's a buy all the way. Does anybody disagree?
No.
No, I think Shea is pretty.
I'm a little nervous about his 30% K rate up until now, but besides that, I'm fine with him.
Well, they haven't played any of their games at home in that AAA ballpark, so
that's
true.
I mean, that's true.
He hit 5 home runs in,
on the road.
On the road in March and the beginning of April. Like, we haven't even gotten the sun to come out and be hot yet. I'm Shea Langoliers. I don't think that Cal Raleigh's going to hit less than 40 this year. He might hit 35, but I think he's a lock for 40. I think Shea Langoliers is the only catcher that could catch him.
Did y'all pick up on that? How much it pains Sam to talk about another catcher? Because his love of Cal Raleigh, literally, Sam, you motored through it, but I could tell it pains you to talk about.
And do you guys agree they're 1-2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're just curious. Where do you guys put Drake Baldwin right now?
3.
Yeah, top 5.
Top five. Yes.
Top
Same
5.
here. Same here.
Top 5.
He was the undervalued player this year, I believe, in the catching market.
From Southwest Missouri State. Shout out, Drake.
Okay, let's move on. Sal Stewart. Again, one of my regrets here. I think he's still fairly cheap if you want to buy him. I mean, we're talking like a 270, 30-plus homer player, tons of RBIs, batting 4th. This is a can't-miss guy that, I regret him, but he's a buy. Does anybody disagree with Sal Stewart as a buy?
Not at all. They were actually talking him up at first pitch. There were several conversations about Sal Stewart, and this was going to be his year. So if you can buy him cheap, do it. Because I don't know if there's somebody who got Sal Stewart and got him on accident. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how cheap it's going to be to go out and acquire Sal Stewart. So
so far he has a 16% strikeout rate, which is amazing. 21% walk rate. To me, he has a chance of being an absolute stud, and at floor, he's like Michael Busch, which is like a low-end first baseman, high-end corner who's going to hit like 25 homers. That's the floor.
Yeah, that's a great point. He 100% in Cincinnati with that manager, with the team around him. He is set up for success. So Sal Stewart already had that great pedigree. Like, in some places like James Anderson for RotoWire, shout out James Anderson, like he was a top 10 prospect, like overall hitters and pitchers. So yeah, Sal Stewart's totes legit. The only thing holding him back is that he's first base corner.
And the K rate you mentioned, the 15%, that's what he had in the minors when he was producing. Last year, his K rate was close to 26%. If he can keep that K rate down to 15%, he's gonna be perfectly fine. He's 5 or 7 against lefties so far. I mean, that's like crazy. That's crazy stuff.
Would you rather have, Ariel, let me ask you, right now in a dynasty league or even redraft, would you rather have Sal Stewart or Murakami for the White Sox?
That is such a good question. I'm going to say Sal Stewart because I think you're going to get that great batting average and you're going to get something around the same homers with a lot more RBIs on a better team. I'm not a dynasty guy, so I'll answer for this year.
Reuven, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Sal Stewart also, only because I think that once people start to figure out Murakami more, I think that he will come back to earth just a little bit. I mean, he's a phenom. Yes, he's a phenom, but we don't have as much live tape or how he's gonna, once hitters hit, pitchers react, and they change what they're gonna do. We don't know how it's gonna be. Sal Stewart already went through that last year, so the fact that he went through that, I'm going with Sal Stewart.
Let's move on to Liam Hicks. Here's somebody that I think for the first one I might say actually sell. I did actually pick him up in like 3 or 4 different leagues, but I only did that as I had a $1 second catcher, and I said we're gonna stream. So if we're gonna stream, let's pick up Liam Hicks, who, by the way, should have a decent average. I mean, he has a 3% K rate so far. Last year, had a 14% K rate. So I sort of believe the batting average. Obviously not a 333 batting average like he has, but I do believe he can hit 270, 280 even, which is good for a second catcher. The power is not real. He's like an 8-homer guy, not a 30-homer guy that he's on he's on the pace for even more. So I believe in like a serviceable second catcher. I don't really believe in anything more. So to me, if anybody's interested, I'm selling, but I'll pick up if it's literally free and I'm streaming catchers anyways. Sam?
I like what Britton said earlier about catchers are hard to find during the season, and so I would buy Liam Hicks if the price was right. I think that he is going to have some run, and he's not going to kill you in average, and he could walk into some power like he's been doing. So I'm interested. I picked him up in a couple places this weekend also, and so I'm also hopeful because
he was cheap. He was cheap this weekend. So to me, if a guy is cheap, then you have a chance at a good return on investment. And I didn't drop anybody important. I'm like, oh, well, I'll drop my Adley Rutschman to get him. No, I dropped some Tyler Stevenson or, whoever I picked up as I don't even know who I picked up. I just had anybody. So I'd rather have Hicks for nothing over him, right?
Right.
Yeah. Thank you very much for spending the $2 more than I bid for him in that league where you picked him up, and I have Alejandro Kirk, who's out forever, and now I don't have.
Is this GDD?
Now, yes, it is.
I beat you by $2.
You beat me by $2, and I needed him more than you because I have Alejandro Kirk.
It sounds like you didn't need him more than him because he bid more than you. If you needed him more, you would have bid more.
I don't like spending that much for catchers on the waiver wire in general because what you're seeing now is his ceiling. It's only coming down from here. So why am I getting his coming down, hits and batting average? If he's batting 330 now, his batting average is going to come down to 300, 280. That means his batting average is going to drop, and that's going to make my batting average drop. So I'm not really, I'll spend on it if I really, really have to. But for the second week in the season, to spend more than $50 in $1,000 budget on a second catcher, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, but you have to if you have Alejandro Kirk. I mean, you have to go after it and just see, let it play out and see what happens.
You don't, I can always stream because just like Liam Hicks came up this week, who knows another catcher doesn't come up next week or the week after. It can happen. I don't mind streaming a second catcher. I don't like spending money on a second catcher.
How do you know that I won't beat you by $2 next week on the next catcher?
Yeah, let's say another like 2 other catchers get hurt, and then you got all these other sharks in the water. Yeah,
I think the problem with Liam Hicks is that Liam Hicks has
he's
the
never been
potential
good. That's his problem.
Well, yeah, that
season.
Also, but I think that there is a chance for staying power. You could end up getting him and not having to stream catcher for a few months. So that's my knock on wood. That's my hope.
I hear that, but I got Danny Jansen instead. I'm not thrilled with it, but he's a placekeeper. That's what he is.
Yeah. No, and he will play. He will play in Texas's lineup.
All right, let's
Yes.
move on to some pitchers. Let's do two at a time for this one. Cam Schlittler, Kevin Gausman. I think Cam Schlittler could be one of my regrets also. I think that he was way overpriced. Now, unlike some of the other rookies that we mentioned that were cheap, Schlittler was not cheap in draft. So I was okay passing over him. So far, he looks right. He looks great. Now, obviously, it's early on. He's got 100% strand rate, 130 BABIP. That obviously won't go on. But, the strikeouts look great. The line drive, ground ball, fly ball profile looks great. I don't see any red flags here, so the floor could be low. The floor could be high, that is. So maybe he's a buy. He's certainly more than a hold. Kevin Gausman, I mean, he's been a workhorse. Kevin Gausman, other than the year 2019, he's pitched since 2016, so we're talking about 10-year span, at least 175 innings, or at least the pace of that. The COVID year was at that pace. That's 175 innings for each of the last 10 years, and he's been great every year. Now, I know that he's also started out BABIP 111, strand rate 100, blah, 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 but the ground ball profile is going back, and he's going back to more Ks. He looks really great. He was an ATC undervalued guy. I have him in a league or so. Should have had him in more leagues, but I think that he is a buy as well, Schlittler and Gausman. Any of you disagree?
I like them both. I like Schlittler more than Gausman just because at this point I'm waiting for Gausman's arm to fall off. I just get nervous when you have 5, 6, 7 years in a row where you just perform. And I understand how that's also a reason to want to buy into Gausman. But I think they're both hot. I think they're both great for 26. And I love Schlittler. I'm really bummed that I did not get him in tout.
Okay. Anybody else disagree?
I'm 100% behind Cam Schlittler because every time I hear his last name, I like to think of Christmas Vacation. Schlitter's Fall! Cam Schlittler is awesome. He's got not to get all Ian Kahn, down Narrative Street on you, Ariel. I know y'all are buddies, but Cam Schlittler is a fighter. He's a bulldog. He is actively angry about every pitch, kind of Roger Clemens style. I think Cam Schlittler.
That's what Ian Kahn likes about him.
I think Cam Schlittler is going to be an ace. Kevin Gausman is an ace. I get that. But the Yankees this year are an elite team, and not that they're not every year. I understand that. But nothing has changed other than the fact that they're just going to rack up wins. Everything's set up right. They're going to have a big offense. Even Giancarlo Stanton, shout out Michael Stanton. Even Giancarlo Stanton is off to a hot start. Ben Rice is hot. Jose Caballero is out there mixing it up on the bases. Everything is going right for the New York Yankees. And Judge isn't even hot yet. He's had 3 hits. They've been home runs. He's going to heat up. He's going to be just fine. So Cam Schlittler, great pitcher, has that evil mentality of I want to kill everyone. Kind of like the Terminator in the auction draft. Very similar. So, long story short, I'm taking Cam Schlittler because New York is a lot more evil than Toronto. We know that, right?
Speaking of New York being evil, if you're listening to New York sports radio right now, the Yankees have the best record in baseball, and they can only find faults with them. They're talking about the bullpen, talking about how Ryan McMahon can't hit his way out of a paper bag. They're talking about a whole bunch of different things. Cam Schlittler is using his slider now 18% of the time more than last year, and I think that's the difference right there. He is a bona fide ace, and they're going to get 2 more aces coming back with Rodon and Garrett Cole. That's going to be a killer lineup if they perform where they're supposed to. Kevin Gausman, I think, is pitching a little over his head right now. I mean, the K per 9 is close to 16 right now. His career is 9, so that's going to come down a little bit, but he's still, I'd say he's like a 1B. If Cam Schlittler is a 1A, I'd say Gausman is a 1B, and I'd be happy with both of them.
Right now, is anybody would anybody value Gausman above Schlittler? Because I actually will. Anybody? No?
No.
No, I want Cam Schlittler, 100%.
Houseman over Schlittler for stability.
Yep.
I'm an old boring guy. All right, next two we'll do together. Joe Boyle, Bryce Elder. Any thoughts on the two? I mean, I think Joe Boyle is just a prospect who is pitching well so far, and just stay the course. Bryce Elder has done this before. I think it's actually a hold for me as he's going hot, but be prepared to drop him really quickly, or I don't think you're going to get anything if you sell him, so just hold him right now. And Joe Boyle, to me, is a hold. Anybody?
Yeah, I hold them both. Joe Boyle has that tantalizing stuff. Elder does not. Elder is, hopefully smooth and steady. I get it. So it's kind of like the flip side of a coin. But I just hold them both and see what happens, I think, is the best way to go. Because if you didn't start Elder, you missed his two best starts, I think. But Joe Boyle might have some better starts in him. That's what I think. What do you think, Sammy?
Well, I'm out on both. I don't have shares of either, and I think Bryce Elder. You're right. We've seen the best two starts he's going to have all year. If he has success, it's going to be on somebody else's roster. It's not going to be on mine. And I need to see more from Joe Boyle to be excited about him. I've never been impressed by what I've seen. So.
All right, so let me try to get some positivity back here. Bryce Elder, yes, we know who he is already, but remember the Braves don't have any starting pitchers, and he is out of options. He cannot be sent back to the minors, so he's in the rotation to stay. So if you need a pitcher and he's on the waiver wire, definitely go grab him. As for Joe Boyle, his K per 9 rate is real. If you look back in previous years, his K per 9 is real. His fastball is down 2 ticks from prior years, but he has a new pitch. He's throwing the sinker now 15% of the time, and he's only owned in 77% of NFBC leagues right now, and only 27 of CBS leagues. He's a Tampa Bay Rays pitcher. What is there not to like about Tampa Bay Rays pitchers?
I think both are worth owning in 15-team leagues and streaming at this point.
Yep.
And if you have that, to me, that's the way to use them. And 12-team leagues, it's stream, drop, and use as is right now. All right, let's go to some cold players here. We're going to do them a little bit quicker than the hot players, but let's
skip over the first one for Sam. Don't do the first one.
Okay, we'll skip the first one. Let's go to Spencer Torkelson, Marcell Ozuna, Caleb Durbin. They're all underperforming in different ways. Any one of these guys? Well, tell me. Are you just cutting bait on some of them? Are you selling them, or are you saying, it's the first week? Come on.
I probably didn't have any Ozuna anywhere, and I think it's still too early, like we were talking about before, to move off of Torkelson and Durbin. I think they both are interesting for different reasons, and if I drafted either of them, it probably wasn't in the last 3 or 4 picks.
Are you benching, though, any of them? Because I'm benching Torkelson this week until he turns it around. I'm not dropping him.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, but I wouldn't drop him. That's not the roster choice I'd make.
Ozuna, I'm dropping. I don't see a need for him unless you're in like a mono league.
Ozuna's had 2 hits this year, and granted it's 8 games, but come on, man. But Torkelson is the one I'm hanging on to. I'm not dropping him at all. He's taken some walks. It's not horrid what's happening. He hit Spencer Torkelson, former number 1 overall pick. Hit over 30 home runs. I think it's a wait and see with Torkelson, or maybe even buy low. Caleb Durbin, who cares? His OPS is literally like one of top 5 worst in the league. You don't need him. You don't need Ozuna. I'd hang on to Torkelson and Josh Naylor. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't talk Josh Naylor yet, but yeah.
I don't know about Josh Naylor, but I do know Naylor. I barely know her.
Oh my God.
Spencer Torkelson, if you look at his launch angle, it's 10 degrees off in the last 2 years. So I think he has to tweak his swing just a little bit, and then he'll get back to where he is. So I think benching him is the way to go. Caleb Durbin, he's a possible stolen base guy. There's really no other third baseman on the Red Sox unless they want to reconfigure the whole infield. So he's going to be on the team. He's going to get his at-bats. He's a guy, if you want stolen bases and you have a trading league, you can actually buy low on him right now and just put him on your bench and wait until he gets more at bats and you get more stolen bases out of him.
Yeah, that's interesting. If you're in a roto league, I'd say that he's a hold or a buy for Durbin. If you're in a points league, you could cut him in a 12-team or less or shallower league. You could.
Yeah, I would drop him for Colt Keith in a New York minute.
Josh Naylor, I think everyone's gonna agree you're gonna hold. No one's selling any higher. You're just gonna hold. You know it's the first week. You know he's a great batting average guy. And look. I mean, he's got 11% strikeout rate right now, 143 BABIP. This is just chill, everybody. You know, he'll be fine.
I'd buy low on him in a 12-team redraft or whatever.
Well, then
I'd
the question is, do you bench him or are you still playing him?
No, you play him. He's too high a value player.
You got to play him.
He's going to play every day.
Who are you putting in for Josh Naylor? Like, what kind of level?
Spencer Torkelson. that's what you'd be doing.
You're not doing that.
Rumfield for Colorado. Like who would you be able to move into first base? Who's on the waiver?
If you're playing in a just half week hitters, Rumfield's at home, and I maybe
or for matchups, play a hot Jake Bauer or a hot Luke Raley, that type of thing.
We're talking like a half a week. If it's a week or longer, I'm not benching. So, all right, pitchers. Here's some cold pitchers: Yuri Perez, Tanner Bybee, Nate Eovaldi, Emmett Sheehan. We'll do four at one time. Yuri Perez, Tanner Bybee, Nate Eovaldi, Emmett Sheehan.
Aaron Rodgers said it best a few years ago. He was being interviewed after like week 4 or week 5, and they were like, "Yeah, your record's terrible. What's the deal?" And he's like, "I got 5 letters for you: RELAX. Relax. All 4 of those guys are going to figure it out, and by the time we get to June, everybody's going to want to have them on their roster."
Okay. Anybody else differ?
I respectfully disagree. I am flat out scared. The from MLB ERA qualified starting pitchers, Nathan Eovaldi's number 1 with an ERA of over 11, and Emmett Sheehan is 3. Like these are the worst starting pitchers in baseball. Nathan Eovaldi and Emmett Sheehan. I can't remember who's 2. Maybe Miles Mikolas. I can't remember, but these are literally like they are killing you in every conceivable category. And what sucks too is because Emmett Sheehan was had a great second half of the season last year. He was a big target for a lot of people, including me. Disappointment. Thy name is Emmett Sheehan. What do you say, Reuven? Do you agree? Disagree?
The two that worry the most are Tanner Bybee and Emmett Sheehan. Tanner Bybee because he left his first start with shoulder inflammation, and the second game after when he came back, he only pitched 4 1/3, and tonight he only pitched 4 1/3, and his velocity has been down the last 2 starts. So I'm a little bit concerned from that. I'm not concerned about anything else, but I'm concerned about that shoulder. And Emmett Sheehan, he has 5 walks in 8 innings so far. He had 6 walks in 10 innings in spring training. His velocity is down across the board, including 2 miles per hour off his fastball from last year. I don't want anything to do with him.
Okay, so Emmett Sheehan, I agree on that. I think he could have upside. He's definitely a bench. I don't know if I'm dropping him yet, but he's a bench for sure. Bybee has the injury concern, so it's a little bit different. I was never a Yuri Perez guy. I think he walks too many in general. So if you like the higher whip pitchers, high strikeouts, sure. If you're like me, you probably would have avoided him anyways. The one guy I'm going to say, Nate Eovaldi, his FIP is 5.97. His xFIP is 3.54. Do you guys know the mathematical reason why there's such a big difference between a 3.5 xFIP and a 6 FIP?
Pi.
Because batters are hitting pitches that they shouldn't.
No, so the difference mathematically is that xFIP relies on a league-wide homer to fly ball ratio. The homer to fly ball ratio that Nate Eovaldi has right now is absurdly high. It's like over 23. His Sierra is 3.29. So we're talking about his, the ERA estimators, the ones that ignore homer to fly ball. It's 3.3. So we're talking like he's been doing good. His K-minus BB rate is 20%. His walk rate is only 7. And his fastball is actually up like almost a mile an hour since last year. This is just an unlovable of starts, absolutely he's a buy. If somebody wants to sell me Eovaldi right now, I'm buying. The
Yeah.
ERA is a complete mirage.
But his walk rate is up, so his K minus BB is masked by the fact that his
but
K
his walk
rate is
rate's
higher.
only 7. It's only 7%.
I know, but his K rate is higher, so it's masking the actual KBB. That's the problem.
Yeah, his K rate is ridiculously good at 27. So
Which is
what
not
I'm
going to
tell-
last. That's not going to
Why
last.
not? That's what he did last year. So I think that he looks fine, and it's just luck. So I'm gonna say, hey, if somebody has Eovaldi, I'll buy him.
He's
Yeah,
worth
I'll
a
take the
shot.
price.
Yeah, out of all that list, he's worth a shot.
And he's got the highest upside of all these guys, to be honest.
Yep. And you could also say because of the injury last year, like he's working out of it. Yeah, I totally get it. I see it.
I hear Yuri slander going on, and I'll just say, I don't think he's got the highest upside of any of those 4 names. But
Okay.
I like Eovaldi.
Yep. All right, Ruvain, let's do injury update. Where we've got a lot of injuries right off the bat.
Yeah, we'll start with Juan Soto, who has a grade 1 calf strain. He's supposed to be out for up to 2 weeks. The Mets put him on the aisle just to be cautious. I think the player who's going to gain a lot of playing time is going to be Mark Vientos, only because Brett Beatty is going to be moved to the outfield, and Brett Beatty is probably going to gain outfield eligibility sooner than people think. Mookie Betts on the IL with a right oblique strain. He said he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. He already said that he's had this type of injury in the past, and he feels better in the first week after the injury now than he did before, but he's also older. Matthew Boyd is on the IL with a bicep strain. With a left bicep strain, Javier Assad was called up to take his place. That's wonderful. And he joins Cade Horton on the Cubs IL, who has a right forearm strain, which we don't know exactly what's going on. And Colin Ray can actually fill in for him. I mentioned Alejandro Kirk. He's actually undergoing thumb surgery tomorrow, Tuesday, for his fractured thumb. We won't know how long he's going to be out until we actually know what happens during the course of the surgery. Tyler Heineman is an option if you want to have a backup. You want to take his backup. And Hunter Brown on the IL with a right shoulder strain. We don't know that much about it yet. Cody Bolton was the possibility to fill in, but 2 names to look at are Spencer Arangetti and Seinfeld favorite Jason Alexander, who both could be pitcher rubber worthy.
Costanza. Can't stand you. Aaron Getty's got to be the most interesting potential to pick up because of his upside. And if,
That's correct.
If he's got a spot in the Astros rotation, you want him. Now, he had a over 5 ERA last year, but injury stuff, all that kind of stuff. But
Correct.
I think he did okay in his spring training games. Like, if he comes out fresh and ready to go, you could actually get some serious production out of Spencer Arangetti for the Houston Astros. Ariel, are you into Spencer?
Especially if Hunter Brown is out for a while.
Yeah.
All right, so want to thank you guys for coming on the show. But before you go, could you guys tell us a little bit about the Pallazzo podcast? How did that come about, and where people can find it?
Sam, it's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, a Michael Govier enigma. Do you know how to unwrap that question?
Yeah, it's Michael Govier's. It's all from him. I know that when he started podcasting 5-6 years ago, he had a partner that he did stuff with. Was that Dreary or
Chris Dreary? Yeah, they're buddies.
But then it was just Govier, and I've been podcasting with him since 3 years ago at First Pitch. I think that's around the time that Britton started podcasting there. So it's me, Britton, Michael Govier, and then there's Ben Chase, Robbie Baseball, and Mike Virginia. So there's 6 of us that are there, and it's meant to be. We enjoy the game, and so we take our comments and our positions seriously. But it's meant to be fun. Like it's a really fun place to be, and we like to have lively conversations and sometimes talk a little smack. A lot of times talk a little smack. Like it's good.
Govier's lively?
Yeah.
Govier is the liveliest guy you will see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a fun situation, and I want to say first of all, thank you so much, Ariel. It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much, Reuven. Hopefully, I'll meet you in person. But for letting us come on, inviting us to come on to Beat the Chef, we absolutely love it. But actually, not to bring this up, but I mean, didn't y'all win? Like, there's no shift, right? So instead of call it Beat the Shift, it's like victory. See you never shift.
We beat
But
the shift.
I don't.
Yeah, we beat the shift.
Yeah, we beat you. Yeah, let's say see you never shift.
Yeah, but,
But anyway,
who's listening to a podcast called Bita?
No, just call it
Just call it
victory.
beat?
Screw you, shift.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it. Please subscribe to the Pallazzo podcast. That's the YouTube subscriber where you can see all the podcasts that we do. I do one with Michael Govier and Mike V. Shout out, guys. One on Wednesday and then a Fab one on Sunday. It's Pallazzo. It's Pallozzo. We call it 2 L's, 2 Z's. Pallazzo. I won't get into too long story because I know we're running long, guys. But Pallazzo comes from the movie The Naked Gun, and at the very end of The Naked Gun, they're at an Angels game, and somebody says, "Hey, it's Enrico Pallazzo." And that was the name of the podcast that Michael Govier gave it many years ago. It has since been shortened to Pallazzo, much like Kentucky Fried Chicken is now KFC, because, God forbid, there are more words than people can understand. So, anyway, it's a lot of fun. We talk fantasy baseball. We love baseball. So please check it out if you can. We'd really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely worth a listen to. Yes, Enrico Palazzo from The Naked Gun. It's probably one of the best baseball scenes in a movie. I love the Naked Gun movies, by the way, and that was probably the best scene, one of the best scenes, at least, in all.
No, I think the best scene is when he says, "Hey, you got something on your cheek," and he nubs it off, and it's like half a banana. Never mind. That is is such an obscure reference. All right, never mind. Sorry,
Yes.
guys.
No, we got that. Oh, if you're old enough, you get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Ruvain, what about you? What's going on with you these days?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter X at MLB Injury Guru, where I tweet out injury updates as they come. And as the season goes on, I'm gonna also discuss some injuries, how to prepare for them, and what to do for them.
And I'm Ariel Cohen. I'm over at Fangraphs, over at Rotoballer, on Twitter at ATCNY, and of course on the Beat the Shift podcast right here. Thanks, guys, for coming on the show. By the way, Sam, you are playing me in Tout Head to Head this week, and you're currently losing.
Yeah, I know that I'm playing you this week, and I'm looking forward to a summary butt whooping all week. It's going to be great.
Well, it's like 2 hours into the day, so it's, I'm just getting on you there.
I'm a Mariners fan, so I'm used to abuse. I don't have a soul. Like, I'm okay.
Hey, Ariel, will they kick us out if, like, we do as bad as we're doing now? Or, I mean, do we get like a year of, okay, y'all figure it out? Because, woof, my team, Emmett Sheehan, it ain't going great.
Well, let's hope that everybody is competitive and we do good. I would say that no one's going to kick you out unless you purposely don't set your lineups down the stretch, that kind of thing. Then.
Oh, no, I'll try. It just might be futile.
Britton, speak for yourself. I am going to get into the playoffs this year. I am going to be a disruptor at the end of the season. I am looking forward to this.
Boy. Love the spirit.
It's still April 6th. No one can take a victory lap at this point.
That's right.
And the season is 6 months long, or for playoff, it's 5 months long. So you still have plenty of time to turn around, to drop those Emmett Sheehan's, and to fix your roster.
That's right. That's right. I love
Let's
that.
go, Randy Vasquez.
And if either of you need a Roldis Chapman, I've got an extra closer. So come on, call me. All right. Anyways, that's it for the Beat the Shift podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Great to be back. We will be back to basically once a week. We might actually do 2 a week because we might have to actually switch our day with some softball scheduling conflicts and some high school baseball, as I'm coaching this year, scheduling conflicts. But let's see what happens in terms of the days, but we'll be back on a regular basis is what I'm saying. Thank you to everybody who really reached out to me and said, hey, how come no episodes for a couple of weeks? You were probably drafting and busy, and yes, that was pretty much the reason. But thank God we're all good and healthy, and we're having fun again. All right, once again, thank you so much to Sam Wirsching and Britton Allen for joining the show this week. Thank you, Ruvain. And from all of us here at Beat the Shift, we'll see you next time.
Peace and love.
Thanks for listening to the Beat the Shift podcast presented by Fangraphs. Follow us on Twitter at beat_shift_pod.